appreciation for getting the opportunity to be included into the deliberation, discussions, and joint thinking. I've learned a lot during the last 3 days. I found a very, very inspiring discussion. Very brave discussions that is indicating for me a way ahead in a number of ways, and which was very much solution-oriented. A couple of concrete points that I would like to share with you what I gathered from you during these 3 days. I think it is now commonly accepted that the Agenda 2030 and the package of the SDGs within is a model of real-life independencies. Once we accept it, it's also very easy to accept that the SDGs are as interlinked as different spheres of our lives are. And it's also relatively easy to accept that the integrated agenda offers possibilities for more cost-efficient solutions. But here comes the difficulty when we try designing the implementation. The world is looking for ways and means and advice. And the Nexus mechanism, I think, is a very good toolkit which is being developed now. In fact, as Janusz mentioned, the Nexus mechanism is in the stage to step out of the laboratory to the implementation phase. What kind of transformation, what kind of implementation are we talking about here? And I echoed it, it was echoed from your discussions in the last 3 days. We are changing a pattern of the last 2,000 years. In the last 2,000 years, development meant how quickly, how efficiently can I include more and more material, sources, resources into my development in a certain period of time in order to achieve a progress. From now onwards, progress means how can I speed up my progress and at the same time reduce the material intake and energy intake. It's a completely different mentality, and many thanks for the Nexus methodology to triggering many of the ideas to this way. So what is making this transformation a bit harder? As it transpired from your deliberations, there is no single recipe for all the countries and all of us. Different countries, different communities at different national circumstances will find different ways how to approach goals, long-term goals and even short-term goals and priorities even. Even nexus effects may work in different ways in different countries of different level of development. Another what I heard from you is that we are now using and tasking our existing institutions, organizations, governments, channels of collaboration, treaties and rules of the game, and budgeting for something that they were not designed for. The design is changing, or the design has changed, but our toolkits are mainly remaining the old ones. So the present system of implementation, institutions, budgeting rules are built on standalone mandates, standalone separated competencies, and separated projects. Welcome to the world of the Nexus. Welcome to the world of the lessons learned from the Nexus mechanisms. It was also very clear from your deliberations that we don't have the necessary number of experts. We don't have the necessary number of bureaucrats, and we don't have the necessary number of politicians who would understand the nature of the challenge. Please help educating. It's a huge task. Yet again, it came out from your interventions that we are racing against the time. We have about a 15 to 20 years window, not more. In some cases, much less. In some areas, trends show acceleration, threatening with a collapse much earlier than 15 years. In some other cases, we see very, very fast trends of technological advancement and coping with difficulties. My true hope from the Nexus methodology is that we exploit those areas and those technologies and those methods that are clearly going through revolution now for the benefit of those areas, implementing there where we have really, where we are really seeing a approaching trouble. Imagine we are on a bus journey. There are 4 simultaneous tasks now on this bus journey. First, we have to change the course. It's not easy. The second, while changing the course, we have to accelerate. It's dangerous. Third, we need to fix the bus. And the fourth, we need to train the drivers. It's not a small task, but all of you will be needed. The Dresden Nexus Conference, for me, is a platform, a high-quality platform for knowledge generation, for synthesizing science-based knowledge on interdependencies and translate it to the language of political and economic decision shaping. Let's move out now from the laboratories and let's approach the field of implementation. Now some suggestions or some opinions. The Nexus approach so far has been tested and developed on a limited number of areas, while we know that we have a completely interdependent and integrated set of goals. My advice would be to step out of the 3-4 SDGs and try to develop the Nexus question for the whole set, as many others suggested already. The next one is also echoing some of the suggestions listed before me. Now we are talking about how to break down silos between different sciences, labs of the material sciences. I'd like to see the next year Nexus Conference where we can hear the opinions of economists, financing experts, and representatives of humanitarian sciences. Here we get the 3 dimension of the goals. It's not that we are not on track. I just would like to encourage you, you are now the best forum in the world. You need to make a further step ahead. Many of you rightly put the very legitimate question, would it be too complicated? Too many indicators. Even if we extend it now beyond 4 or 5 SDGs to 10, 12, maybe more, will it be just a big mess? Well, there is a risk. But let me ask you, well, some of you can answer the question, some others, certainly not because of the age. 40 years ago, when you went for the blood test, how many indicators were on the paper? 5, 6, 7. In the good labs, 10. If today you go for a blood test, at least 50 indicators will be on the table, and all of them will give you the educated answer for one single question. How am I? How is my health? And this is the question what we need to answer when we speak about how are we progressing. It is not necessarily that we all deal all the time with all the indicators. I don't have to deal every day and every minute with the kalium component of my blood. But there will be experts who know how to use that component. Is it complicated? I'm sure most of you, sorry, I put down my phone, have a smartphone with you. That smartphone, if you use it extensively, will predict now where you go the next. It will indicate how many minutes will have you have to drive and what might be the next item you are going to buy. It's big data. Nexus should enter the big data period. We have to benefit from the big data procession, the big data analysis. Two last points. Let's be aware of the modifying challenges. Let's be aware that a combination of new drivers and new challenges will take us to different issues of different problems, different challenges of another quality. When SDGs were put together, we tried to calculate all the existing and predicted challenges. Still, now we have a phenomena that 50 million people are about to be driven out of their homes, properties, and communities. Yesterday, someone, I think, Rabbi, it was you, who raised this question. Let us not see this question being dropped. We are talking about a huge number of people that will be affected by the answer, what we can offer. And last but not least, it's also coming from one of the yesterday's discussion. Let's not be afraid of questioning processes that were considered unavoidable. We are talking about urbanization in terms of growing megacities all over the world as something unavoidable. Let's put the question, is it really unavoidable? Is there any way how we can intervene to have a better life for many? What are the pluses, what are the minuses? So let's be brave, but that will require a very, very strong nexus knowledge. So I'd like to congratulate the organizers and appreciate once again for being able to be a part of this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Kőrösi. I think other key listeners agree with me that we say that we owe them interactions in the next DNC because time is too short, and we enjoyed a lot your speech and others. So we thank all key listeners for the wrap-up. We will work on all points that we received, and we will share the documents with all of you. Thank you so much.